What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video. Today, we are looking at some of the top teams and some of the top Pokemon for you to try out and hopefully climb Elo in the Fantasy Cup. Rise, what's the Fantasy Cup? Fantasy Cup is a great league meta coming to Go Battle League about 2 hours from the time from the time I'm recording this video, and it is consisting of Steel-type Pokemon, Fairy-type Pokemon, and Dragon-type Pokemon. So, an interesting meta, to say the least. And we asked some of the top trainers from this past weekend's Portland Regional Tournament to give us some of their suggestions for what they might be running in the Fantasy Cup. If you guys enjoyed this content, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and we're going to get straight into it. I've got a pretty cool graphic. Shout out to Crazy Filmmaker and Inadequance for this graphic. I'll get rid of the top screenshot here so it's not too redundant, but here we are. We've got Abhinav starting things off. He was the Portland Regional Champion from this weekend, took on Caleb Pang in the grand finals and was able to win the whole thing. And he is suggesting Registeel, Flygon, Azumarill as his choice of team. Flygon, an interesting Pokemon in this meta with a typing that is quite unique, Dragon Ground. You're going to only take neutral damage from those elemental types like water. So not necessarily a hard counter in Azumarill to the Flygon, but of course Flygon's probably going to want to avoid Azumarill for that double super effective Ice Beam. Registeel and Azumarill, two staples of the Go Battle League since the very beginning, and two very bulky Pokemon. So if you've invested in an Azu or Registeel, you might be set and just plug in that Flygon, which has had a community day as well. Flygon, you see the description, a dragon that can fight back against the fairy types and covers Registeel. So I would presume he's probably running Mud Shot, Earth Power on his Flygon, and that will help it out against both the Steel types and the Azumarills. Next team comes from Ramberto, a former Worlds competitor, terrific battler, finished top 4 in Portland, and he's running Azumarill along with Galarian Stunfisk and Registeel. Two of the strongest Steel-type Pokemon in the game. I'm sure most of you guys have those two Pokemon built. And yeah, as the description says, a pretty standard ABB type line. You're going to want to safe swap out of there to lure out the Steel counter, and hopefully your secondary Steel counter can sweep in the back. So I would think... It says Galarian Stunfisk being used to bait out the fighting type to free up Reggie. I think Reggie could also be an effective safe swap with this team because Reggie, normally the better safe swap in my opinion, but maybe in this condensed meta, G-Fisk is actually going to be utilized as the safe swap. The next trainer we're featuring is Bopper, and he's running Tapu Fini, Registeel, and Shadow Flygon, the Shadow variant. So some extra damage on that Shadow Flygon, more of an ABC type line, right? Not necessarily a team that you have to swap out of certain leads. But Tapu Fini is similar to Azumarill with that Water Fairy typing, but Tapu Fini does better than Azu in regards to the fact Water Gun can chip better against things like Galarian Stunfisk or Registeel, and also it has a higher attack in general. It's going to get to moves faster than Azumarill, getting to that Surf a little bit quicker, and it has that Moonblast coverage as well. So you've got some nice flexible play, it looks like, with this team from Bopper of Tapu Fini, Registeel, and Shadow Flygon, and a little bit of extra flair with that Flygon. I think the Shadow Flygon is going to deal some devastating damage because a normal Flygon is going to really attack your opponents well. But Shadow, especially with a shield advantage, which could maybe get opened up from your two other Pokemon that do threaten shields with Tapu Fini and Registeel. I can see Shadow Flygon doing some real damage. We're going to scoot on up to the next 3 trainers here. We've got, of course, it's Axon, the reigning Pokemon World Champion. And he's rocking Azumarill with double counter users in the back, Lucario and Escavalier. This is a pretty cool looking team, and Lucario is something you don't see too often in the Go Battle League, but it can be dangerous. It can ramp up with Power Up Punch, and if you run Shadow Ball on it, which I'm presuming Axon is going to be running, you can also threaten things like Azumarill or even Ghost types, but there probably aren't too many Ghost types in this meta. And then, of course, Escavalier, a Steel-type Pokemon that also has the fast move counter. So you got double Steel counter users in the back with Azumarill lead. And this team is super strong against Galarian Stunfisk. Really nowhere to go for the G-Fisk. So if G-Fisk is popular in this meta, I could see Acton's team doing some real work. And as it says in the description, Lucario, an aggressive safe switch with a high damage output. He wants to lure out the Azumarill most likely, which will help clear things up for the Escavalier in the back. Next trainer, Onion Frank, a multi-time top 8 performance finisher in the play Pokemon circuit. Has probably as many top 8s as anybody at this point, and is still looking to break through for that regional championship. And he's running Fairy Wind Mawile as a closer. Interesting. I would think Fire Fang with all the steel types, but Fairy Wind maybe for the dragons, he feels like is better. And Registeel lead for grabbing shield advantage. And dude, what even is that? What the heck even is? Okay, this is bad. This shows the Rise lack of prep with this video. What even is that Pokemon from Onion Frank? I can find it out. Let's see. You guys are probably so frustrated watching this right now. This is unbelievable. But I have the details of the teams in our little secretive chat. Turtonator. Turtonator. What the heck? What moveset does Turtonator even run, dude? What moveset does Turtonator even run, dude? I'm going to PvPoke right now. Looking at these rankings. Onion Frank running a Turtonator. Let's see. Fantasy Cup. It's ranked number 7. Okay, so I'm the one that's out of the loop. I'm living under a rock here. It's ranked number 7 in the cup, so it's not even like a spice pick per se. Running Incinerate, Dragon Pulse, Overheat. Turtonator is going to actually shred through a lot of the steel types. And that'll be a fun one to try out. Well, I'm glad I looked it up because this might be a fun one for me to try out. And also worth noting, as I'm looking at these rankings here, Lucario now with access to Blaze Kick might be the play because Blaze Kick can threaten those steel types a little bit faster than something like a close combat. Blaze Kick only 40 energy. So, yeah. Turtonator, Incinerate, Dragon Pulse to really threaten those dragons, and Overheat, which is just an obvious fire-type nuke. Interesting pick and a cool one. I'm looking forward to see some Turtonator action. And then we go to Flying Pizza, who is running Azumarill, Registeel, and Berserker. Berserker, a fan favorite Pokemon. One of my faves. He's very cool looking. And a similar team as we've seen before to like up here, right? We saw Azu double steel, and we see Azu double steel down here. But this is a little bit different because Berserker, with its diverse moveset, you could run Foul Play, Close Combat. You could also run Iron Head to threaten the fairies. I think Berserker is always going to be dangerous if you give it a shield advantage and let it farm down something. So keep an eye out for Flying Pizza's Berserker. And we will go down to the final couple of teams here from Bird Power and Mr. Home Slice Henry. Is there another team, actually, if I go down further? Nope, that's it. Bird Power running Tapu Fini, Excadrill, Registeel. You're seeing a common theme here, right? And over the course of a new meta, it kind of develops over the week, over time. So you might see the meta change around a little bit, people adapting to different teams. But Bird Power running Tapu Fini, Excadrill, and Registeel double steel line. And there's been several double steel lines in this graphic. So that might be the meta to start things off at least. And of course, Tapu. We talked about earlier, Excadrill, a very glassy steel type that's going to dish a lot of damage, but also going to take a lot of damage when it gets hit. So Excadrill can be difficult to run, but does have a lot of sweet potential if you give it a farm down and if you get it in the right spots. And that said, we leave it to the man himself, Mr. Home Slice Henry, in the last spot. And this is the one Master League team in this video. So if you stayed till the end hoping for a Master League team, well, your wish was granted. Home Slice Henry running Solgaleo, Kyurem, and Dragonite. Solgaleo double dragon, pretty cool. All three of these Pokemon with play against the Zygarde, which isn't the most common, but is so powerful, as we know. So all three of these Pokemon with play against the Zygarde, and it makes a lot of sense, right? You have a fairy counter in the lead, and then two things in the back, weak to fairy. Classic ABB style, and as he mentions in his description, with the Breaking Swipe nerf, Rayquaza not quite as consistent as it used to be. Now Dragonite may seem like the play. Plus, you have that superpower coverage for Dragonite if you decide for that. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed or found at least something helpful in this video. If you did, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you plan on running in the Fantasy Cup or what content or Pokemon you want to see in the Fantasy Cup. I feel bad that yesterday I missed an upload day, so I've got multiple videos planning on going up today and tomorrow as well. And then we will go on to some Fantasy Cup and some Master League content. All right. A couple more remix uploads, and there's going to be some really cool ones as well. I wouldn't upload them past the time remix is over if they weren't some cool teams and some cool spice. So I've got some fun videos coming in a really spicy Pokemon on Spicy Saturday that I ran myself and had a lot of fun with that. Hydro pumped some Carbinks. I'll tell you that sneak peek. All that said, thank you guys so much for watching. For the full graphic, and if you want to download it for yourself, feel free to check out Inadequence and Crazy Filmmaker on Twitter. I'll link them in the description. All that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.